my family did. I am not the voices in my head. I am not the pieces of the brokenness inside. I am light. 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 I'm not the mistakes that I have made, or any of the things that cause me pain. I am not the pieces of the dream I left behind. I am light. 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 Yeah. I am light. I am light. I am not the color of my eyes. I am not the skin on the outside. I am not my age. I am not my race. My soul inside is all light. All light. All light. Yeah. All light. I am light. I am light. I am light. I am light. Yeah. I am divinity defined. I am the God on the inside. I am a star, a piece of it all. I am light.
Welcome, welcome, welcome this morning. I am so happy always to come into this space with you, my sisters, on Sunday mornings. We've created such a warm space for us to enter into, to be fed, so that we can continue to go out and feed and to serve and to flow from the overflow and not from the cup. So if you're here for the first time, welcome. I am your host, LaTanya Taylor, the Rev Coach, affectionately known as the Juicy Spirit Mama, the Priestess of Purpose, Pleasure, and Passion. And I hope to be a midwife for you in your relationship with God, with Spirit, with the ancestors, with the divine, as you have known it and evolved it beyond that in this space. Of course, some of you know me through some of the programs and are active members of our sister space and community. Of course, this is a home for you, and of course, it doesn't mean you have to look over any other spiritual home that you have, but this is a way to expand it and to check in with the self. I honor each and every one of you who choose to come and share this space with us. And so this morning, we are continuing with our second installment of transmutation, the law of transmutation, which all year the universal law has been our superpower. You are the one that must activate your superpower after you hear the principles. You align your life and your responses to your life accordingly. And if you aren't able to do that, we have our space in Good Girl Song Goddess to ask for support, to share awarenesses, to continue to grow and not make any assumptions that what you have to say, what you have to ask is too simple or too other people are more advanced than you and things like that. These are the type of assumptions that keep us doing the same thing, recycling the same issue, worried about the same thing year after year after year. And it is only us that can interrupt these patterns. And so what I want to do is to make space. Today it will not be any disappointment to you. In fact, you will get a chance to hear from another voice, a familiar voice, who has become such really an assistant minister, and another role which I'll be announcing in a more formal way, but an assistant minister to Rebirth Sunday. She has been holding this space the same way she got the vision. My sister has been Elizabeth. We've had the Mary and the Elizabeth relationship, and she gets the vision. She knows what I'm pregnant with. I can feel what she's pregnant with. And so today she will be giving us the downloaded word from what Spirit has given to her on transmutation. I just want to set the tone of what we're working with, and that is 11:11. It's 11:11 today, y'all, and that's a big deal. The energy started the moment we entered into November 1, actually. And so, but 11:11 is the one that's the most obvious. And there are days like this all through the month of November. So when I talk about leveraging the season, we're talking about the alignment of the numbers, which also speak to the angels and the ancestors. But we're also talking about the alignment of Sagittarius and Jupiter, as well as Mercury getting ready to go into retrograde, Venus coming out of retrograde. So all of the healing that October brought up, all of the wounding or any other revisitation of past relationships or past behavior patterns that we've been experiencing, even to atonement with friendships and relationships with folks. This is also now moving into action. Sagittarius energy is all about action. It's a fire energy. And so this is a perfect time for us to do this 21-day challenge, which is, I call it a challenge, but you know why it's a challenge? For those of you who are in this space, it's more of a challenge to be consistent with anything. It's more of a challenge to wake up in the morning and pray. It's more of a challenge to set your mind in course of action on something. And so that's really the challenge. What we're doing is coming together to feed the space that we host called Good Girls Gone Goddess, but also those of us who know that we are going to be in alignment. So I'm going to share more. Once again, this will be my last time sharing because we'll be in the actual challenge, but just to share the guidelines towards the end because I know people enter the call late, and I want Spirit to enter first. And so since we woke up to 11:11 today, which yesterday was also powerful, which November 10th, which is why I launched day one of the Shift Everything Challenge as a model, as an example in Good Girls Gone Goddess. But this is all about reset, reprogramming, the soul evolution, leveling up, enhanced senses, touch, taste, sound, sight. Those of you who are in Good Girls Gone Goddess, you get to play more with your sensual transformation right now. Those of you who are in the Juicy Spirit Rites of Passage process, you get to play with the senses right now. Increased intuition, perception changes, clarity, insight, vivid, realistic dreams. This is a high vibrational time. this is where you really want to mind your words and mind your mind and mind inside of you any of the places that you have been desiring to shift, and you know better than anyone. And so I will continue to go over this 1111 vibration, but no, today we are calling forth the energy, the power of the ancestors at the top of the call and not the middle. We're calling forth our guides to come in to this space and to lift us even in this hour that we have together. We are asking that every sister that is struggling to wake up in the morning, that she would get into the energy, that whatever spirit of depression is on her or distractions that are on her, that she will come in to this energy of love, that she will be here. So I just pray for my sisters, even at the top the morning, that they will find their way, even at the 8:30 hour, 7:30 hour, depending on your time zone, or that she will get in the recording, because we cannot continue to lay in the sick bed. We got to pick it up and walk. And so I'd like to bring before us our beloved Minister Dana Beasley. Many of you know and love her, and she holds many talents and gifts, as you know. However, her ability to give such an easy word is what we look forward to today. Come on in the room, sister.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Reverend LaTanya, for just sharing this space with me and seeing me and trusting me and encouraging me to do my work and this work here in this space. And I just give thanks to you and your gift. Thank you so much. And just doing a quick mic check. Can you hear me okay? I just want to make sure.
I can hear you perfect.
Okay. Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. And good morning, everyone, and thank you all for sharing in this space today and bringing your spirit, your ancestors, your prayers, your thoughts here with us as we go a little bit higher with transmutation, the law of transmutation. And last week, Reverend LaTanya, kind of gave us an overview that transmutation is the action of changing or the state of being changed into another form. And she talked a little bit about how a lot of times we, trans is in the prefix trans is a prefix, it's in front of mutation. And a lot of times we want to put the mutation first before we go through the change. And I gave thanks for that last week because it really helped to ping me, so to speak, to kind of ping me into realizing that, there's some changes that have to occur before you get into full transformation mode. And so I shared last week that even in my transition, there's transformation on the other side. And so that's just been on me all week. And I sat and pondered and I thought about it, and I said, even as women, we go through the process of transmutation quite often. Whether we realize it or not, we go through it quite often. From the womb space to now, transmutation has been very present in our lives and our lifestyle. As Reverend LaTanya said last Sunday, change is guaranteed. Nothing is permanent. Whether we look at or review or observe our own bodies, our mentality, our household, our finances, or even the very earth that surrounds us, change is inevitable. For those of you who are Trekkies out there, when we look at change being inevitable, you have to know that resistance is futile. If you're not a Star Trek fan, you won't get that. But those of you that are Star Trek fans, resistance is futile. To resist change is to fight universal movement. And that is a battle that can create disappointment every time. Resistance to change is to fight universal movement. That's a battle that can create disappointment every time. So we have to stop, take a step back, receive change. Then we can begin to transmute our own lives into the desires of our heart. Even Psalm 37:4 says, delight yourself in the Lord, and he shall give you the desires of your heart. Delight yourself in the Lord, and we already know the Lord is what? The law of life. We hear this over and over again. The Lord is the law of life. Delight yourself in the law of life, and she shall give you the desires of your heart. So we have to be receptive. We have to delight ourselves in the law of life. How many of us are actually delighting ourselves in the color changes of the leaves right now? We see this seasonal change. The trees are giving us beautiful arrays of reds and yellows and greens and oranges and some browns. Are we delighting ourselves in this change? See, this is a universal change. The trees changing the leaves over and the colors and even dropping the leaves, that's a universal change. It's not anything that we control. It's not anything that we can do to make the trees change. That's a universal change. The universe helps that process. Mother Nature helps that process, not us. And so turning over a new leaf, the transmutation of the tree is the leaf. So turning over a new leaf, the leaf first has to die and be released. So the tree will allow the leaf to die and be released in order to grow a new one. It has one, but to turn over a new one, it has to release the old. The old has to die and be released in order for new growth to take place. You know, from the time you said last week that some relationships have to die. Why, a lot of us say, why does it have to die? Why does this relationship have to go to the wayside? Well, in order for growth to take place, there has to be death. In order for life to come forward, there has to be death. So even in relationships, just like the tree goes through a transitional phase or period before the new leaf can come forth. Our relationships have to go through a transitional phase or period before new life in the relationship can come forth. So even the trees go through a transitional stage, a transitional period. It goes through a period of being bare, where we go from summer into fall into winter. The fall is a transitional period from summer to winter. The tree goes through a transitional period of being full to being bare, having nothing, no leaves, just bark and twigs and limbs. It's bare. So over the last few years, I've noticed that even when the tree is bare, it's budding. Even when it's dropped all of the leaves, it's budding. It's making the way for new growth. It's making the way for a new changed portion of itself. If we look into our own transmutative process, our own growth and aging process, we can probably identify about 7 stages. And we all know the number 7 means what? Completion. And so if we look at the aging and growth process, we can see about 7 areas of change. We come in being an infant. And then we go from being an infant to a child. And then from a child to a teen. And then from a teen to a young adult. Then to an adult. Then to a senior or elder. And then even from elder, we will transition into the spirit or the etheric being. So we can see these 7 stages that even we go through in transmutation. And even through these areas of changes, it affects our mind, our body, and our spirit. See, these areas go through same transmutated state of change from one form to another through these stages of growth. And yes, this even transfers into our love, our sex, and our money. See, even as a child, when we look at love, we see the little girl phases of our love. You see love in one form, in innocence, affection. We see it in family love, the love of our parents, our grandparents, our siblings, our aunties and uncles. We see it in hugs and kisses. That's how we kind of identify love. When we hit our teenage years and young adult years, we see more of the puppy love, the heart flutter, the giggles, the doodling on paper, the writing of poems and love notes. We see it transitioned or transmutated. Once again, it's taken on a new form. And then even in our adulthood, it changes yet again because now we're looking more for that soul love, that committed love, that sustained love, and even the sexual love. In our sex, as we see these stages of growth, we have the little girl tingles and waves as a child, when you get that sexual tingle, all right? In teen, we hit puberty, and then we start getting hot and wet, and some of us end up, get hot in the pants after we got a little bit. A little bit of sex, we get hot in the pants, we get grown. We know something now because we've had sex. We've changed from the little girl tingles to that grown woman era, right? But then even in adulthood, sex changes because now we have to look at the orgasm and even our own menopause that comes into play. So the phases change through love, sex, and money. And, here we go with the money. Because, see, even as you change from infancy to adult and senior, your money and your thoughts on money change or transmute. So as a child, when we look at money, we really don't even have any worries. We just see money as a thing, a tool, something that someone gives us. It's not anything that we have to worry about. We just receive. We receive money from our parents. We receive it from grandparents and aunties and uncles and cousins and sometimes even strangers. You can walk in a store and a stranger will see a child and just hand them $1 or a quarter or, some form of money. So as a child, we don't think about money in the form of worry. We see it as a tool, a thing. In our teenage and young adult years, it begins to change a little bit because, see, now we're looking at money as how it's something we have to get things. It's something we have to get things. And so then we start worrying about, worry comes into play. We start to worry about getting a job. worry about the source of income, the income stream, and things that we want to have and buy. The worry of money begins to set in. We look at it as a necessity. And even in our adult and senior years, it changes yet again because, see, now we're looking at money as a source of sustainability. We need it as a support system, a support for our children, a support for our family, sometimes a support to take care of our elderly parents or grandparents, a support to sustain ourselves, our household. We're looking at money as a support of fixed income that comes in to sustain everything. So it changes yet again. We've now gone from it being a tool and just something to a tool that gets things to now how can we keep the things through our money. And so we can see the transitional phases of how money changes even through our growth process, how our thoughts on money, how our thoughts on sex, how our thoughts on love changes even through the transitional period of growth. But even in transition, there's transformation. Even in transition, there's transformation on the other side. The trees transition from being full to being bare and then transformed back into fullness. How can we do that even in our own growth process with our love, our sex, and our money? Well, one thing we have to realize is that thoughts become things, right? Thoughts become things. You have an idea or a thought to bake a cake. Or a cake, right? So what's the next step? We got to go to the store. There's an action. Go to the store to get the ingredients. And then once you have the ingredients, you have to actually put them all together to bake the cake. There's some work to be done, right? A combination to be done, to be made. And so then that bakes the cake. And then the transformation is the cake is eaten to sustain and fulfill you internally, right? To give you that satisfaction taste of tasting that chocolate cake. It's so good and we're just so happy and satisfied inside. That's the transformation of the feeling, right? And so if we look at how thoughts become things, I have to just give you a quick story of gardening. I heard someone recently talking about they were creating a garden and planting some seeds, and they of course cultivated the land first, and then they planted the seed, and then they put the seed on a schedule of when to water it and when to feed it and when to fertilize it and when to make sure it had enough lighting and things like that. And they put it on a schedule. And then all of a sudden, something hit that person and they stopped because they realized, I'm doing all of this for the seed and I'm doing it to make it what I wanted. And instead of letting nature, instead of letting the universe take hold and do what it does, sometimes we have to take our hands off of the seed and let the universe allow the seed to grow. We have to allow the universe to water it when it's time to be watered. We don't water the trees. The heavens waters the trees. We don't tell the tree when it gets the light. The sun comes up and tells the tree when it gets the light. And ultimately, whether we realize it or not, the moon even tells the tree when it gets light because there's two forms of light that it receives. So that's a universal job. It's not our job. And so we have to learn to take our hands off. We plant the seed, cultivate the land and plant the seed, but allow the universe to help the seed to grow. Yes, there's some oversight that we have to tend to, but we have to allow it to do the things that we're not supposed to do. When I first had the idea to telework, it was an idea, it was a thought. But even in my thought, I knew I had to do some visualization. I had to look at how does that look for me, teleworking from home. What does it feel like? What will I do while I'm at home? And then I even had to take opportunities when I was home to walk around my house as if it was already done. I am home. I'm teleworking. Now what? How does my day operate? And so then came my action, my call to action, which was writing a resume to myself and writing a resignation letter to my boss. That was my call to action. Write the resignation to my boss and the resume for myself. Clean off my desk at work. Organize everything so that it's set up that if I'm not there, people can find it. Set up my home office so that when I'm ready to sit down and work, everything is in place. Those were the action items to make it a reality. And once my teleworking became a reality, then I hit the now what phase, the implementation. Am I doing the work? Am I staying organized? Am I maintaining the schedule? How does it feel? Or do I still have the giddy feelings when it was a thought? How am I holding my space? Is it clean and organized like I envisioned it to be? Am I maintaining the vision of the goal, or did I just let it drop once it came into reality? And so even as we transition, you have to transform our thoughts and the reality around it, internally as well as externally. And so I'm going to close with this. Now is the time in the season when we can transmute our thoughts, our environment, our attitude, our eating habits, our finances. You choose. The choice is yours. Now's the time that we can transmute those things. Plant the seed and watch it grow. But know that there is a call to action and implementation in order for the transformation to take place. And so with that, I hope and pray that each and every one of you will walk into this law of transmutation with a new look and know that you can create the space for what you desire. Again, Psalm 37:4 says, delight yourself in the Lord. Delight yourself in the law of life. Let it be delightful to you, giddy, blissful. Allow that to come to you, and she shall give you the desires of your heart. What do you really desire? Delight yourself in it today, and your transmutation will take place. Ashe.
All right. Thank you so much for sharing those gems, those nuggets today. Just even opening up that, you know, we as women are constantly transmuting, and that's so true. We are the real shapeshifters, for real. And we are the ones who go through a 28-day cycle and still think we're normal when we are extraordinary. We are the ones. That right there was absolutely a powerful lead-in. Is there anyone on the call, you heard something from your sister where your belly jumped and opened up a space for you? I am unmuting all of the lines. If you have any background noise, babies crying, wind blowing in the wind, if it's not 30 degrees where you are, go on and put your physical phones on
Morning.
mute so that the call will stay clean. Go ahead, beloved. Good morning. And I like to say happy day and that type of thing, because when you study the etymology of the word morning, it signifies grief, even though so when I say so happy Sunday to everyone. Go ahead and speak, sister.
Grand rising, sisters.
I know that's right.
This is Monique. Is that better? This is Monique.
Oh, no, yours is fine. I was just speaking for myself.
No, you know what, though? I appreciate that. I never really thought of it that way, so I learned something new. So I'm just going to change my language, transmute my language, right?
Okay. Come through now. Yes. Yes.
Oh, my gosh. My belly jumped in so many places. But, Dana, I want to start out by thanking you for that word this morning. You are so gifted. You are so gifted, sis. I love you. I love you so much. Just as you were talking about the seasons and, fall, of course, and all the change that goes on during this season, I've recognized that I've had kind of a fascination with fall for the first time in my life. I'm a summer baby. I love the summer. I love the spring. I love the warm weather. And I always thought, fall is pretty, but it's just getting us closer to cold weather and the winter. And so I've never really been a fan. But if you look at my Facebook page over the last week, I have been transfixed by the image outside of my office window of the leaves turning, their reflection on the water. It's distracting. I can't take my eyes off of it. And I haven't been able to understand what my fascination was until this morning. And it all started to come together because I recognize that I'm in this season of my life where I'm kind of in the middle. You talked about the change from infant to child, teen to young adult, senior, spirit. And that's where my belly jumped for the first time. And I realized that I'm right in the middle. And so I have, the infants and the children and the teens who are relying on me. And then I have the seniors, which, my parents, aunts, who are pulling in the other direction. And I'm right in the middle. And, I'm going through changes in my body. And it wasn't really something I welcomed, but because I'm in this community, and because I hear messages like this, I realize this is just part of the journey. And so I welcome the change. I welcome the fall for really the first time in my life. And I'm seeing the connection between nature and my life. And so that was a huge aha moment for me. I think it's been coming, like I've been getting pieces of it. But you put it so beautifully together this morning for me. I'm like, aha, that's it. And the other place that my belly jumped in relation to that is the garden and, the seeds that we plant. I'm a control freak, or I have been. I've been working on it. But, there are things that I desire in my life that I want to see come to full manifestation. And I'll plant that seed, and then I'll just over control, and I'll say, well, what if this doesn't happen? And what if that doesn't happen? What if I don't get what I want? Instead of just saying, okay, the seed is planted, I'm done with it. Let nature take its course. And I find that I test that sometimes, and when I tested it, it's been working. So again, that was confirmation for me this morning. And I won't, belabor to the point. I know other sisters want to speak up, but thank you. Thank you for pulling it all together for me this morning. I get it. And just have a beautiful, beautiful 11/11. And I love you. Thank you.
Okay. Love you too, sis.
Anyone else? You heard something this morning that was helpful, supportive, or just realigned you, caused your belly to jump. Lines are unmuted.
Good morning. This is
Good
Renee.
morning.
Good morning. This was definitely a very powerful sharing this morning. Even as Dana was sharing, I had my eyes closed and just not just listening with my, my physical ears, but just really listening from a place inside of me. And it reminded me, my mother was the one that really taught me when I was very young the importance of paying attention to the changes of the seasons. And fall was one of her favorites. Well, still is one of her favorites. And she not only shared from a spiritual perspective, but even from the science of it and why, the changes come, as she would share about the high temperatures during the daytime and then the cool temperatures at night. And as Dana was sharing about change, it is that physical change too that helps illuminate and brings the beauty and the color to the changes of the leaves, before they fall. It's the extreme, the extreme in the temperatures. And then, as she so eloquently brought in, the real nugget for me was to release the resistance to the change, because oftentimes what happens, or what has happened for me, is that I looked at it like, I have a right to question this change. But what I understood is that in my limited thinking, my immaturity, is that I was really afraid and resisting the change. And so I think it was just so powerful, to share the significance of being a part of the flow and allowing the change and not being an interference to what the universe already knows. The universe, we've already asked for what it is that we want. And I'll speak personally. I know that there are things that I've already asked for, and all that I need to do is to sit in and allow the universe to do what she knows and has done best, has been proven and tried, has over countless times and times again. And so this season, especially coming after the heels of our consecration, man, when I tell you I'm not worrying about a thing, and I would put in something if it was a Tuesday or Friday, but I'm not worrying about a thing. I know that everything that I have asked for, and I don't have to continuously go to the altar, I've said it, I've shared it. And like you said, Dana, the universe, God knows the desires of my heart, knows that. And it's time for me to get in alignment and know that as well. And that's the alignment. Once I know that I know that I know, then I can move on to co-creating other things. And so I just give thanks for this space. I give thanks for Mama LaTanya and her standing in her vision, growing and transforming, because of her transformation, we're able to transform as well. I see your evolution, Dana. I see, so many women come in this space and, share more, not just from the surface level anymore. It's not just, and not just from a place of pain. I appreciate the pleasure reports. I appreciate, the love and the attention and the commitment to this transformation. So I thank you all. God bless you and keep you and continue to transform. Thank you for allowing me to share.
I have a little bit of a testimony. I know I'm supposed to be quiet, but I'm bubbling to share this because yesterday was really so powerful for me. And, of course, whenever I go out and do professional development, any of those of you who are working with me, you are always going to get the benefit of anything that I learned, because the truth of the matter is I am a teacher, I'm an educator, and it brings me great joy to be in my purpose of giving these nuggets. And whoever gets them. I used to be attached, and I don't even have to worry about, whether you're going to be a client or not. I'm not trying to sell you like the gimmicks and stuff out in the world. I'm so over it. But I was sitting at a table, thou prepared a table for me. And let me tell you something, because there was so much oil being dripped on this table. I'm probably going to just give it to our sister community, because we started here. But when we talk about transmutation and accepting where you are and how powerful you are, I have known that I've had spiritual gifts for a long time that I didn't talk about. And I didn't fully understand them. And a sister came to me at this women's conference. Now, mind you, we have been trying to get together for a while since I moved to Atlanta. And she came to me and said, I know I've been dodging you. And she said, I know your gift. She said, I know you have the gift of sight, and I was scared that you were going to see me. And I didn't want you to see me. And she said, because I didn't know you. I knew you were a minister, but I thought that you were going to be one of the ones who would judge me for what you saw. And I said, me? Girl, me? Do you know what I do? And she said, I kind of knew, but I wasn't sure. And she began to share her story of why she was so self-protective. And I just want to tell you how she blessed me, because I am 46 years old. That means I was born with a gift. The first sign was when my mother said, baby, she said, you scared the doctors when you came out of my womb because you were born with your eyes wide open. So that means the day that I was born, there was something on me, and I spent probably most of my life wondering why people reacted to me a certain way. But but the more I said yes and stepped into my assignment, I transmuted the human pain and the human distraction because I did my work. And I started to not care about why people would respond. See, I had to go through that, what felt like rejection. I had to go through that period of wondering why I was the black sheep of my family. Because sometimes people can see your gift and you don't know you're gifted, and they don't have language for what it is that they're responding to in you. And so then I moved, and the more I have moved and done and transmuted consciously and made conscious decisions to interrupt the patterns of my past and to interrupt the patterns that would keep me doing the same thing, reacting to it the same way. The more I did it, the more my gift made room for me. I wasn't trying to get into anybody's room and sit at anybody's table. So yesterday, I'm fast forwarding the tape. Now we shrilled. Several of my sisters was there. I was the guest of one of my mentors, and listen. We went on to the table. We wasn't looking to sit at nobody's table. We wasn't looking to belong, none of that. Atlanta clique is just like D.C., and so I ain't bringing that spirit here. And so listen, we go sit at the table and mind our own business. But before I got to the table, just to show y'all how your gifts work, she said, let's go. I said, yeah, because other people are coming. I didn't know other people was coming. Within 3 minutes, my mentor, her assistant, and her, another person that was with her, and 3 other women came to the table. We began ministering to each other at that table for being different, for being rejected. But listen, if I had not gone through and walked through my own cross, I wouldn't have been able to have that conversation at that table. And then one of them is a celebrity makeup artist. Check this out. I never seen her, never heard of her before in my life. She literally is a mogul in her industry. She is just a mogul. And we just talking. Now, mind you, I don't lead with Fix My Life. Like, I don't go into rooms with that. If they find out, fine. If it comes up, it comes up. And sure enough, we knew someone in common. But how about she says, oh, yeah, one of my clients is Iyanla Van Zant. And instantly we were connected, not because I was trying to do anything. And everybody at that table was able to share moments of after teaching Sisterhood. Now, mind you, I had been holding the teaching for Sisterhood for almost 2 years. Sometimes y'all think that these little casual conversations I'm having are just that, but they really are groundbreaking because certain conversations, do I want to say that? Certain conversations I have had in private, and y'all see them in public, but because I didn't stand up in my gift, it looks like somebody else is speaking what I deposited in them. But anyway, so I'm not doing that anymore. It's time to transmute everything, shift everything. I just had to share that because what was dripping at this table was so powerful. Because, listen, you want to be able to enter into the basic areas so that when you get ready for your next level, that you already are okay with your seat at the table.
That's right.
And listen, because when you level up, there's not always anybody to prepare you for the next level.
That's right. That's
Your preparation is on the level that you're on, but know that you're getting ready for the next thing. And that could be in your love and your relationships. It can be in your parenting. It could be in even broken relationships in your family. They don't have to look. I'm going to tell you one more story. So I got a client that's working with me, and she's moving through some real heavy-duty stuff. She needed to do it privately. And so because her position in the family is big sister, she could not see her blind spot until she became human, until she just became a woman with a story, with secrets, until she was able to face her own story, her secrets, and her frustration. She couldn't even relate to her blood sisters. And until she was able to relate to her own hurt, her own breakthrough, her own desires, she couldn't even have a real conversation and was floored by what her sister had been holding. Y'all, we don't know. We don't even know with our mother oftentimes because people have told us that we're supposed to hold a title and an image in how it is that we're supposed to show up. So even when we're going through changes, we can't go through the changes because we're too busy trying to hide the fact that we're going through. We want to get to the other side and be the mutation instead of the trans. You got to be the trans. And sometimes you got to let people know you're in the middle of your trans, baby. I'm transforming. I'm transitioning. I'm changing. And you don't get to say about me what was the old me. No. Don't accept that when you go home for the holidays.
That's right.
You don't get to say that anymore about me. You can correct it lovingly. You ain't got to be angry. Everybody don't have to be a warrior. But you don't also have to be. You don't have to be a fighter either. You can say, "Oh no, that's not me anymore." Oh no, honey, I canceled that. Oh no, that don't put that on me. Oh, sometimes you can just really say to somebody, "Oh, really? Is that how you see me?" And really, because if you just walk around wounded, you are accepting what people have spoken over your life. And see, until you unspeak what has been spoken over you, then you are walking under the spell that has been casted on you from somebody else's mouth. Now, let me shut mine.
Oh, my God. Yes. There is transmutation even in the release. Because when you hold on to something, you know, that's one phase. You're gripping it. But then when you have to let it go and release, that is transmutation.
Yeah.
So even in the release, letting it go. Yeah. Oh, wow. Thank you for that.
Mm-hmm.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good day.
Good day. Grand rising.
Y'all are dropping some good old stuff over here. I'm not at home, so I had to wait. I had to wait until my roommate went to get in the shower so I could speak. We are celebrating Veterans Day this weekend, and we're getting ready to go on the boat. But, I cannot miss my call. I cannot miss my call. Thank you so much, Dana. Girl, you broke that thing down, and you took your time with it. You slow walked that thing. And I just want you to know that I so appreciate you and this community. Y'all don't know, but I have transmuted from, just being in this community. I have transmuted, being hidden. A lot of people think I'm an extrovert, but I'm really an introvert. But I love the coming out. I love that the tools that I've been given I can put to use, and I can tell someone else. I can tell my younger sisters to use the tools that you have been given because they work. And I'm telling you, I see myself more and more, even in this community of veteran sisters who, they talk about the pain often that they've experienced. I let them tell their story, and I'm able to tell them, but you don't have to stay stuck there, because I was stuck for so many years and running from the process. And you don't have to do that. Use the tools. This community right here is a rich community. You may not have the legal notes that you want yet, and I say yet, but I tell you, if you keep going, if you speak that thing, if you believe that thing and you release it, watch it come. Watch it come right to you, right on time, right in time. Mama, I love you. You know I do. And I just had to, speak this morning. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you. Love you too. Anyone else?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good day, beloved.
I'm sorry. Good day. Hello. Hello, everyone. How y'all doing? I just said
Good. How are you?
Oh, we got to break that thing. Okay. So, hello, everyone. I just wanted to say, as I listened to LaTanya today speak about not letting anybody just speak a word over us, and that we have to and then so what came to me was, I remember probably it's been a year now since last October, and I came out of my juicy rites of passage, and I kept saying I'm not the same. And even in that December, I went to a shut-in prayer, and I remember just praying, and I remember hearing the words, I'm not the same. And no matter what happened this past year, that was what I kept reminding myself. I had been changed. And during this whole year, the experiences that I've had were just that. My life had shifted in such a way. And I think it's very important we talk about transmutation and, being transformed, that we also have to remember we have to speak over our lives. And we do, as LaTanya say, we can't come in agreement with what other people say. And so that would be, that's just my testimony, that it is very important to speak over your life and be in agreement with what God says and see yourself correctly, and even remind yourself sometimes, like I have to remind myself, I'm not the same.
Okay. Thank you. So good to hear your voice, beloved.
Yes, you too. You know I love you, girl. I love you so much, Miss Reverend LaTanya.
Thank you. I love you too. Anyone else?
Yes, good morning.
Happy day.
Grand Rising.
Oh, happy
day. Happy day. Let me come on through here with my juicy self this morning. Oh, goodness. I just have to say, oh, my God, I've been listening. And, yes, I have to concur with all my sisters. This is truly a phenomenal community, and I am so honored and grateful to have all of you women in my life and to be connected with you all. When I sit and I look back, like, over my life, I know that I have been transmuted, and I am transmutation. Just the things that have been happening to me, oh, my goodness, it's almost to the point now where it's getting scary. I just, I think I shared with some people earlier on that the past couple of weeks I had manifested another car, but just the whole process and the way that I went through it was just so different because there was just never a doubt in my mind that, when my vehicle broke down, there was just never a thought in my mind. I didn't worry about the money or how I was going to do it. Or, I walked into the dealership and I was like, look, even if you don't give me a car, I'm going to have a car. I will not be manipulated. I'm not going to be pressured. This is not what I want. I don't care if I don't have all the money to put down right now. I'm going to have what I want. I mean, just to stand in that authority, and to know the woman that showed up in this space, that broken person that wouldn't speak, that wouldn't open her mouth, that could only identify with pain and could only register with, like, I had no concept that that I could say what I want and have it and call it forth and know that everything that I speak I can have. Some things right now, some things later, but all things eventually if I put my mind to it. Like, I don't have to wait for somebody else's approval or for somebody to believe in what I'm saying for it to be true. It just scares me. It was somebody that I wanted to see that I hadn't seen, and I just kept conjuring on them and conjuring on them and conjuring on them. And I looked up last night, and they were standing in my face. I almost fell out. I was like, oh, my God. So I just want to say to the newer people that are on the call, like, this thing works. This shit is real. Like, we can't make this stuff up. The stuff that it just happens, it shows up and manifests on a daily basis. Like, my mind is constantly blown, and I'm finally getting to the place where I'm embracing and just accepting the fact that I have this power. Like, I stand in this power. I heard LaTanya saying earlier, like she was telling my story. As a child, I always knew that there was something different about me, and I suffered for so many years because I thought it was something bad. Like, I didn't understand why people responded to me the way that they did, or I never seemed to quite fit in anywhere that I was. I always seemed to stand out and be different, and I carried that as something's wrong with me. And it's not that there was anything wrong with me. I was called to stand out. I was called to be a part. I was supposed to be different. I wasn't designed to fit in. And now I'm changing things in my family. Relationships that were driving me crazy last year, and I had to get up the nerve to tell people, I had to give them their eviction papers. Now they're coming back and they're needing me, and they're calling on me, and they're asking for my advice, and what should I do? And I'm sitting here looking like, this is all I had to do? Somebody would tell me this shit before. But I'm just saying, to the newer people, hang in there. You may not understand any of this, or your life may be in a place where you feel like,
how could these things ever happen to me, or, that happens to the rest of them, or they don't know my story, or they just don't understand what I'm going through. Just keep pressing and keep doing the work and keep speaking the language and stay connected, and the shift and the changes it's gonna come. It's gonna come. That's I'm doing this.
I so love hearing your voice. This is you, Kathy. There are many of you, but you and Tressa and some of you all that walk and stay in your, sharing your testimony. I'm just honored because personally, sometimes when you're trying to do even holding space as a midwife, you cannot, think about it, as a midwife, you cannot get down and have the baby for the person that is birthing. You can coach them, but when you try to, if you start breathing like the woman that's in pain, you ain't no good to her. You're going to take yourself out. But you have to be trained and able to hold the space and then look at what they birth. And then even after you birth something, there's a care plan. A midwife doesn't just go away. The midwife is with you through even the afterbirth. Oh, God. Let me hush because I'm sorry. But that's the effect that you all have on my spirit. And I just want you to know, I know you all have held me in the position of mother before I accepted, well, not Tressa, but Kathy's been with me in and out a long time. And so, Tressa, by the time you came, I fully was standing in my anointing as mother. And so I just want you to hear from a motherly voice how proud I am of you and what you are doing deliberately. I just want to publicly acknowledge each of you. And it's not just you two, but it is because you tell your story of the pain that you came through and the addiction to pain. I can't not notice that, because trust and believe there's someone who's sitting on these calls and slipping on and off that are just like you, and some who didn't have the capacity to stay, and some of you all didn't just come and stay. I mean, Tressa came. I got to acknowledge you. I never forget the day you came. You said I just want to remind you, because this is you got to remember, y'all went through those of you who went through consecration, you got to remember your consecration is an imprint. Every October of your life from here on out, you're going to remember what you experienced. And it's going to even be more powerful for you if you live it before October and after October. But anyway, Tressa said when she came in, she said, I don't know all of the language that y'all using in here, but I know that I'm supposed to be here. I know my soul has been asking for this, and I'm going to stay with everything that you got. And she did. And now she's hosting conversations with women who are in pain or who could be in pain, women who've been through molestation and abuse, to give them permission to say, wait a minute, sister, you just need to know you need to heal. You can't carry that no more. So I give thanks for those of you who are embodying the principles in your life. I really do. So, where are we? Let's see. Where are we? Oh, my goodness. How did this happen? We're way over. Oh, my God. How did this happen? So, here's what we're going to do. Those of you who are participating in the Shift Everything Challenge, if you could just hold on the line after we pray. Basically, the challenge has 3 ingredients, which Monique already posted in the group. And so just because of the sake of time, I want you to see if you want to participate. But the point is, this season is a very active season, and the powers that be will want you to wait until January. You're already too late. When by the time January rolls around, when the seasons change, that is the beginning of a reset. So whenever the seasons change, and this particular month also looks like, yes, it's shedding, but it's also renewal. And for us as women, this is the season for us to reap what we have sown. So I don't know what that means for everybody, but this is the cornucopia of blessings. So when you go into Thanksgiving with the bounty and with the abundance, you saying, look at what my crops have delivered.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just some commercial holiday, but this whole, everyone in this whole, I posted it in our private group, and Lord, don't let me go over it again for the sake of time. Help me. I'll repost it in Good Girl Star and Goddess for those of you who want to know, well, why now? Why should I participate? Because there's a power in being intentional. Today is intentional. Language is intentional. Doing something outside of your comfort zone helps to plant seeds of intentionality. And sometimes people don't always know how to do the little things. And so when we do challenges like this, we are being of service to someone else. We're paying it forward. We're planting a seed in the ground. The song says, I got a seed in the ground. And so you got to sometimes program your next season when you're in a optimal season to plant. Hello? We're in an optimal season to plant. And so this is an opportunity. All of you are brilliant in your own way. Some of it's music, some of it's just knowledge. You know, if your specialty is homeschooling, hint, 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 then you can do a post on shifting everything around homeschooling and education. If your specialty is finances, then you can tell us how to do something to get in touch with our money to one thing. If your thing is singing, then you could teach us how to carry a note. Shift everything. You don't have to be me. I don't have to be Yamla because I'm LaTanya. I'm okay with that. And you have gifts. You have things that you have to birth. And so it starts little by little. And so then we feed each other. And don't even worry about who's participating or not. The ones who say yes, it's for us. I got something special for y'all. So that being said, Dana, if you all are ready, if you can bring to your mind's eye any pictures. You know, one of the things I do on Sundays before I get on the call is I go to my ancestral altar. I told y'all stop just rolling out of the bed sleepy and groggy on this call. That's a start, but it's time to shift everything. You got to level up to be the priestess of your own household. And so I come and I set my altar and I talk to my ancestors. I change the water. I get, sometimes I make offerings. I sage the house, the corner, and I love to do it when my husband is sleeping and when the boys are with us while they're sleeping. And when they wake up, they feel it in the air. They know something is different. And one of my boys, he started waking up on Sundays to coming in the room saying, "Are you doing the altar now?" "Yeah, baby, I'm doing the altar." He just come and watch. That's the one I call the priest. He don't know it yet, but I see it on him. So you all have to rise to the occasion and the spiritual discipline. So when you post, the post needs to be up. I'm going to talk about this before 10 o'clock because guess what? Many of us are just rolling into the next thing and the next thing, and you want to have a dedicated time and you want sisters to be able to count on your post. So if you can now call forth your ancestors, I thank God for this time and being able to speak the full name of Della Davis. I didn't know my grandmother's name before I started doing this work, y'all. I knew she was Della, but my mama didn't even remember her last name.
Mm-hmm.
But God sent somebody who had done the historical research, who was looking for his daddy that was in our line. I got a whole cousin that brought the history. That's because that's how powerful you are. You might not know the name, but I call them, give them a name, and speak them. Speak them into this space. Begin speaking the name. Priscilla Noble Nash. Ashe.
Alexander.
Ashe. Dana.
Yeah. Mother, Father, God, all that is, all that will be, we just come to you and thank you for this day, for allowing us to rise up and allowing us to awaken even on this 11/11. We thank you for the love that surrounds us in this space that we are in. We thank you for just the thoughts that transmute into reality. We thank you for our passions that burn deep within us that need to come out into reality and manifest into even more transformation in our lives. We just thank you for the aha moments and the breath that we take even to just step back and be still. We thank you for the seeds that we've planted, the harvest that we've reaped, and the cornucopia that is in front of us. We just thank you for all of those things that you have laid at our feet. I just give thanks for Reverend Latanya and her ministry. I give thanks for her gifts, her insights, and her blessings. I give thanks for the road that even she tries, because we know that that's a pathway for those that come right behind her. And I give thanks for her leadership. And I ask that you continue to bless her, watch over her, as well as all the women on this line and those that couldn't make it to the line but are here in spirit. I just ask that you lay a special blessing on each and every one of them, that they would continue to move forward this week and receive the anointing in this space as we go forth. I just ask that you continue to cover us, lead us, guide us, encourage us in all that we have to do, in all that we have to be, and in all that we have to have in this life on this earth. I just give thanks for you and your blessings and your covering around us, each and every ancestor that stands beside us and covers us and guides us and leads us and protects us. I give thanks for every name that was called, and even the names that are unknown, that may have been forgotten. I give thanks even for you, because you paved the way and the path for those that we do know. So I give thanks for that. Yeah. I just ask that you continue to guide us and light that fire within us, that we can move forward. You know, even in the cold season, even in transition, I ask that you transform how we look, because even the cold fire is the hottest fire. So I just ask you to light that within us and have us to move forward in the things that we need to do, even in this transitional period. In these and all things that I ask that you cover us and continue from this time now and forevermore. Ashe.
Ashe. All right, beloved. We are going to go on and jump into our challenge for those of you who are participating. You know what I realize is once I disconnect this call, you will all be disconnected.
Mm-hmm.
So I have the first 15 days. For those of you who said that you are in, I have 15 days of days for you to post in the group. I am going to go on and post the schedule and tag all of you in it, and you can post any questions that you have. I was hoping that you will be able to. Actually, I'll just go under Monique's original post and post today, and I'll figure out another way to get us on the line. I don't want to have to try to give out a number and you all have to be like, what's the number? But thank you for saying yes. Thank you for being a leader in this community. You may not know it, but I get notes all the time for people who are in the group who are hurting. Some of them are young sisters. They want mentors. So your transparency is teaching so many people how to be a woman without hiding. I just want to acknowledge all of you. I love you, and there's nothing you can do about it. I'll see you all on the other side.
Peace.
Love you.
Peace, Ashe.